Okay, let's talk about the tournament. So, so these are the decks I brought: Faeria Apex and Blue Control, and the next one is Yellow Control. Let's talk about the Faeria Apex first. Yeah, I think Apex is just the strongest deck in current meta, and it can deal with almost everything except Yellow Rush. Even against Red Rush, I think Fairy Apex works like 40 to 60. 40 is for Apex, so it isn't that bad to red aggro decks. So this is why I picked Apex as first deck, and well, I'll talk about the assumption I made a few minutes later after talking about the card picks. Well, Tiki Piper is a card I put to replace some elementals. Elementals are not always looking good, I thought, so I replaced them with Tiki Piper, which can use as boss buff and harvester, and also I'm using one enchantress to get some combat advantage. And then, well, this list doesn't need a lot of explanation, and you have been seeing this kind of decks a lot in tournaments or ranked games. So next one is Yellow Control. Yellow Control is obviously one of the strongest deck in Faeria right now, and well, I'm using 2 Kingsguard in my yellow Control decks. Yellow Control with Kingsguard is being used a lot recently, and it is working actually pretty good. It's good as both harvester and defender. Well, Kingsguard didn't work really well when Chalking Sand was a thing, but recently Chalking Sand isn't used that much, so it even became powerful against some yellow decks for now. Well, maybe the meta will change if there are so many guys putting King's cards into every yellow control. But anyway, there's nothing really special. I'm using 3 ghouls and 3 wind soldiers, and this is just a typical yellow control deck, just using King's card. Next one, just using 2 King's card. Yeah, I definitely can say Chalking Sand will be played again soon, very soon. Maybe some guys will be using them already. Well, if I built the yellow control deck thinking about some control matchups, I would have used 1 less King's card and 1 more Chalking Sand. This is the yellow control deck I think is good against controls. Chalking Sand is working great against everything except aggros. So let's go to next deck. Next deck is this one. Well, these decks are, well, on making these decks, it is inspired by Anti-Rat's Blue Control and Loose Blue Control decks. Anti-Rat gave me his qualifier deck that it is working pretty well, better than he thought. So I tried it and found it is working pretty well against control decks, but not really good against aggro decks. So I tuned it even more to do even better against control decks. I accepted. Well, I took out this. I took out this Mystic Beats he was using, and or like what is it? Another aura stream. What is those cards? Well, I don't remember properly, but anyway, that kind of tuning. So and more battle thoughts like that. So I made it work even better against control decks. So I can play around Faeria wells and build a Gabriel Archon early, or make some Mirror Phantasm combo to kill their Harvester easily. So this is the current version and what I used for this tournament. But you can. I don't recommend using this for ranked game, honestly, because this doesn't really work really well against aggros. Well, but nobody in tournament are using two or more aggros, so I thought bringing one more deck which is not good to aggro is still good. So this is why I picked this one as third deck. So about the deck picks, I want to talk about. First and the most important thing, why Apex first? That is because everyone are thinking using Apex as first deck is dangerous. To be specific, I made some assumptions. First, everyone are thinking using Apex as first deck is dangerous, and everyone think nobody will do that, so they do not bring their first deck around Apex deck. So, what do you normally use Unbound Evolution on a combo? On Mirror Phantasm, of course. Well, so nobody would build their first deck around Apex. So, and they are most users are most top players were using yellow control as their first deck, and Apex is working good against yellow control decks. And also, there are some counters to yellow controls. Those are like red control or Apex or wishes. But there is a problem. All those decks are weak to Apex. But when it went with the wish deck instead, yeah. These guys using wish deck as first deck were also a target for my Apex lineup. So if you are just gonna play yellow control as first deck, or trying to counter yellow control, I'm using the good first deck to counter them. If I'm using Wish and not Wish, Apex. Next, if you're using Wish as first deck, it's pretty much like if you're using Wish in your lineup, it is pretty much likely to use Wish deck as their first deck. Well, Wish decks are using a lot of resources, card resources from the card pool, like where is it? Like Gardan or some key cards from 2 colors and Earthcraft. So they they spent a lot of resources on Wish deck already, so I thought they will think they they are likely they want to play Wish deck as their first deck. What, aggroed with Mokis and Phantasm? What? Well, you should if you're against Apexes. Anyway, this is the background I picked the Wish as first deck. Well, I know this is a kind of gamble, but if you are doing tournament, you sometimes just should do gamble to win. If you're picking just the same deck as everyone else do, like yellow control or red control, if you wanna win, you should just be really lucky. But if you do make a adventure like this, it's more likely to not that likely to win a single match, but it's more likely to win the tournament. So these are the basics on the reasons I brought Apex as first deck. Well, my English is not that good today. Maybe because I'm still feeling tired after the tournament all night. Well, anyway. So after Wish, if I lose to controls, I brought like controls like Apex. I brought this blue control, and if I lose to aggros, I pick this yellow control, and these 2 decks are built around dealing with this kind of decks. Well, anyway, this yellow control is working pretty well against controls. Well, because yellow control is the king of the meta right now. So let's see the brackets again. So in this bracket, let's see how. Why freedom fighter? I don't. Oh, sorry. That was a mistake. Where is the picture? I misclicked. So, how it worked? So in round 1, I played against Babel. He was the player who brought the red aggro as his first deck, and I was crushed by him in first game of the round, and so I switched to yellow control and have won two games in a row and advanced. So, and then against Nightingale didn't have good decks to deal with Apex decks. So against Nightingale, it was easy matchup for me. So it was not that hard to win. Yeah, there's like because he brought Wish as his first deck, maybe. Is it right? Was it right? Um, Maybe it would be right. Anyway, next it was against Lu. I lost first round because Lu brought Apex deck as his first deck, and well, and I have won 2 games with my blue control against his red control and Apex deck, and then he brought yellow control, and it it kills my blue control, and then I finished the game with yellow control. The last game was yellow control mirror. I got pretty lucky at that game. And then the next game was against Sweetie. On the first game, Sweetie used yellow control to beat my Apex. He rushed me pretty fast, and I didn't have enough time to build my army. And next, it was next to that, I brought my yellow control and made won 3 games in a row. That brought me into finals. And then against Donkey, he brought red control as his first deck, so it was an easy win for me. And the next game, he brought the yellow aggro decks. Well, considering what is it? Cockroach. 마마마. 뭐야 저 몰래. 저 이거 봐. 몰래. 내 방. 이거 뭐야? 무지코. 내 이불 뒤에 있어. 얼마나인데? 어딨어? 이거 봐요. 저. 무슨 벌레 저거? 이거 뭐야? 벌레 아니야? 바퀴벌레야 저거? 아닌가? 이게 뭐야? 아니 저기. 저 상장 뒤.
다 도망갔지 마 벌써.
없어졌어.
아이 시끄러. 바보 같아. 없어지지 새끼야. 그게 겨가지 그럼. 저 속아는 거 들어갈게. 여기 있는 거 아니야? 이거로 꽉 움켜 나오면.
저 뭐예요? 무슨 벌레? 벌레. 저게 뭐야? 어딨어 어딨어. So I hate bugs. So what was I talking? So I thought nobody would bring their yellow aggro decks, but Donkey was the guy who brought it. My god. So this was the explanation on my decks. This will be uploaded on YouTube. And sorry about the happening. Okay, so let's go back to game.